The Corsa Sport will be a premium axleback system for those 2005 to 2010 GT and GT500 owners out there who are after a healthy amount of volume but don't want or need the excess volume of more aggressive systems like the Corsa Extreme or other category screamers. Now the Corsa and its high-end materials and build will fetch top dollar, coming in right around 800 bones, and the simple bolt-on install will get a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter from me, and we will have a little bit more detail later in the video. So this is a system that is near and dear to my heart, as it's one of the few I've had the pleasure of installing on my personal S197, and honestly guys, I have no intentions of taking this thing off anytime soon. Why? Well, because it just sounds so damn good, especially when paired up with a set of catted long tubes and corresponding X-pipe. But enough about my car, let's talk about the Shelby sound clips we heard at the very top of this video. And for reference sake guys, that car did have stock manifolds, stock mid-pipe, things like that, and the sound with the Corsa axleback is just awesome. Again, the right amount of bark without being too loud or over the top. So going to my patented and highly scientific Wake the Neighbor scale, I have the Corsa Sport coming in at a robust 4 out of 5 overall. Yes, it's an aggressive tone, no doubt, but not quite as loud or as unruly as the Corsa Extreme or other 5 out of 5 systems. And if this is the first time you're checking out a Corsa system, one thing you need to be aware of is that yes, you are getting a bunch of volume and bald eagles out the back, but inside the car things remain extremely quiet thanks to the company's patented tech known as the RSC, or Reflective Sound Cancellation Technology. This just basically allows Corsa to punish eardrums on the outside, but at the same time you can still carry on a conversation inside the car while cruising, and they are one of the best at doing that. But let's step away from the sound a little bit more and talk about this premium made in the USA build. And as I did mention earlier guys, you're getting some really solid stuff here from the brand. Now this does include 304 grade stainless steel throughout, including those Sport Series mufflers, straight through by design of course, 2.5-inch tubing, a little bit of mandrel bent stuff there as well, and then finally, last but not least, you have the mirror polished 4-inch tips featuring that Corsa logo. Quick heads up here guys, if you did prefer a black tip instead, Corsa has a really sharp one, and you can grab that on the site. It's gonna cost you a few bucks more, but in my opinion, it's certainly a pretty badass look. Let's switch gears and talk about the install, and seeing as though there's no cutting or permanent modification, we're going to call this one a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or two depending on how fast you like to work. And to give you guys a better idea of what's expected with this job, here is one of our AM techs with a walkthrough.
We'll begin this installation by raising the vehicle up so we can access the exhaust underneath. First step to removing these mufflers, we're going to use a 15mm socket. We're going to remove this clamp right here. Next, we're going to use a 13mm socket to remove the 2 bolts on the exhaust hanger. That way we can pull the muffler assembly out. So we're going to remove this secondary hanger right here. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be 2 13mm bolts. There's one that's a little tough to get to. It's in between the frame and the muffler. So we're going to use a 13mm wrench to get that off. So now that we have both of our hangers off and we have our band clamp loose, we can go ahead and wiggle this muffler off. So we're going to do the same thing for the other side. We're going to loosen up this band clamp first, using a 15mm. We're going to use our 13mm wrench and remove the rear exhaust hanger. All right, so once you unbolt that rear clamp, you can go ahead and take it out. Use our 13mm socket to remove the front exhaust hanger. We're going to support our muffler slightly. Remove this front bolt, and we'll pull our hanger off, and then we'll wiggle the muffler off. So now that we have our factory mufflers removed, we're ready to install the new muffler. First, you want to place your clamp on. We're going to orient this in a way that we're going to be able to tighten what's in the vehicle. We'll slide that up onto the existing exhaust. Then we're going to grab a hanger, slide a hanger on. We're going to go ahead and put our other exhaust hanger on. So now that we have both of our exhaust hangers in, we're going to go around and tighten those up using a 13 millimeter. So once you have both of the exhaust hangers tight, we're going to go ahead and make sure that this pipe is all the way in, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten this clamp up. You're going to use a 15 millimeter socket for that, and you're going to torque it to about 45 foot-pounds. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to get our clamp started on there, insert it up into the factory exhaust, and we'll grab one of our hangers, and we'll get that started. Once again, you'll be using the factory hardware to reinstall these hangers. And then once you have both hangers on, you can go ahead and use a 13 millimeter and tighten up all the bolts. And then once again, once you have both of the exhaust hangers on, we're going to make sure that this exhaust is all the way up and in, and we'll use a 15 millimeter to tighten up our clamp. And with everything tightened up, that wraps up our review and install. Check out more at AmericanMuscle.com.